Hello everybody, Skyrain here, back again with another Diablo Immortal video. Alright, hopefully I'll get this one in one go this time. You didn't see anything. Anyway, here we go with the blog post that everybody's been asking for all over the place. Now, unfortunately, I am, of course, not in the partner program, so let me get this out of the way right now. And saying this, I'm still getting whatever information I can piece together as fast as possible, just like the rest of you. But I at least want to give my thoughts and opinions on various things, of which are going to be coming to the game on the 19th here. Now, to give you an idea really quickly how much of a dumpster fire three-ring circus this has been so far in trying to track this information down, in the non-partner program, of course, those guys get that stuff ahead of time, and then they can make their videos on it and post it as soon as they get the time-gated release embargo lifted, which is what they did. And give you a case in point here, we have on the subreddit, we got Sid Gang here, and they posted some stuff about the essences and started to break down what could be a shift in some of the metas for the classes. But if I'm just giving you a time frame here, they released their stuff at 9 a.m. my time, which is the usual time-gated lift that they have. So as soon as that time hit, oh boy howdy, did they put the stuff up right away, right? As to be expected, But then they posted this on Reddit, and people were like, well, where'd you find all this information? They have a link to their video, of course, that they did on this. And then, of course, they get their stuff ahead of time sent to them by Blizzard. And then the rest of us had this little link here to click on, which is a WeChat. The WeChat link, and it's all in Chinese. Did the Chinese translation on that one. So then let me show you what that one looks like really quickly here. This was around the same time, so it was all about 9 a.m. Stuff as I'm trying to piece all this information together as fast as possible and to kind of give whatever about it. Yeah, here is all this in a nice little, Google translated bow, so to speak, of course. And that's what this format looks like. Lo and behold, people were in Discord were asking about it, and then somebody said, well, I don't want to post it in case, we don't want to spread any kind of confusion. It might be from NetEase, it might not be polished, that kind of thing, so on and so forth. It's not 100% official yet, but, well, lo and behold, honestly, yeah, it is. Yes, it is, because, yes, lo and behold, on the Chinese mobile Diablo Immortal website, they finally, about 40 minutes past, they finally updated with this patch note announcement. So here we go with this. Now, you may be wondering, or maybe not, where is Blizzard on this? Where is their official post? Guess what? Nowhere to be found still. Nowhere to be found. And I have been refreshing like every single moment. And I've actually recorded this a couple times now, and I'm trying to do a little bit more succinct here. So anyway, hopefully that gives you an idea where we're at. Anyway, back to the task at hand here. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. There's some things that I already covered in the previous video on the patch notes, and I'm not going to rehash that too much for, obviously time reasons. So let's just move on with this, right? This is what we got to work with. I am sorry, this is what I have to work with anyway, and there's no Blizzard update. If they do at some point, I will put that in the pinned comment down below so that we can have that to look at in comparison. But this is all I have to work with. Still. So, yeah, congratulations, Blizzard. You've done a bang-up job per usual. Anyway, here we go. New story. Cool. I'm not going to delve into that too much. Let's just enjoy it ourselves on an individual level for what it is as it should be. I will make a note on this one. As far as the story goes, they've done a pretty decent job, I feel, in bridging the gap between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, which is where Immortal takes place in the timeline. This is pretty much akin to Clone Wars and Star Wars, if you get that kind of reference, and how much of a time span that they have in between 2 and 3 to work with and fit in as much as possible. I feel like they've done a pretty decent job. The only ones that I have issue with, of course, that are not really canon, were the introduction of Blood Knight and Tempest, and that's all. That's the long and short of it. There, they're literally, they might be a footnote now, but I mean they're technically really not canon in the series of the Diablo franchise. So yeah, they just kind of got stuffed in. Anyway, all right, so here we go. There's the PvP teams of your own 4v4s, group up with your buddies, non-strifed, that kind of thing. Have at it to your heart's content. That was what that is. We've already discussed this in the previous video. So moving on, the legendary the new ancient legendary helmets that we will have with the 4 attributes and 4 magic affixes on them, with the highest combat rating available whenever you acquire these, is because they will scale with your Paragon levels. So that means we're gonna have to keep swapping these out. It's a shame that they're not set for so long at like a certain value, and they will gradually be swapped out. But no, we have to keep crafting these up, and crafting is going to be the way to go with these, because we have to get new crafting materials for this, of course, through rifts and raids and things of that nature. Now here is why they put it in so many words here. Drop. There is a very low chance, and if they're already putting that in so many words in this kind of game, in this kind of format, it's going to be next to nothing. All right, a lot of this stuff, of course, and then it says you can get it in Helicories, Terror Rifts, Hellslayer bounties, that kind of thing. But they say there's a very low chance of that, and we already have a very low chance of getting legendaries in there to drop as it is anyway, and most times they're not all that great. So add this into the pool, the drop pool of everything else that has a possibility of dropping in there, and you get what I mean. So crafting will probably still remain the way to go for these new helmets. And that's what I'm going to say about that. And like I said, they put it in so many words, a very low drop chance, so that means next to nothing. All right, so we're getting the new Inferno 7, 8, and 9, of course. Now here's the thing. I was running around some dungeons earlier today, and somebody was asking me, is like, are you doing pre-farming? I'm like, there is no pre-farm anymore. Pre-farm is now officially dead, in that they've pulled back so much on it, and as we can tell this time around, we are getting the server boosted to 900 on the update, but and we're getting a XP boost, up to that point. So we'll get there eventually, and some of us faster than others, of course. But you can have at it. Good for you. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter anyway. I'm in no rush because we gotta craft up all. We have to go and farm all the other wisps and new set pieces because there's a new one coming to be added into the mix as well, and start the whole process over per usual. However, this time, as opposed to the last time, they're waiting until the day of this kind of update. Push the server Paragon to 900 and release the new difficulties to where we can actually finally start getting to finally start farming the gear. See that? So yeah, so pre-farming is gone. They've time gated it even further than they have before in the past, and it's sad, but it is what it is. I think it's an oversight on their part. Obviously, it's planned by them. But in the game with this much grind that continues to get grindier with every single thing that they continue to add in here, it's just more and more time gating, and that's very detrimental in the long run. But we'll see if they decide to change their mind at some point, hopefully later. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then of course the wish points, ultimate wish points, which is our legendary essences that are going to be reset officially on this one because we're getting into Inferno 7, and bye-bye all your loyalty points. They will now be converted to legacy loyalty points, and we got to start that whole process over just in time for us getting new essences added to the game for Inferno 7. Lovely. But as far as that goes, it's a good thing that we're not getting Druid until a little bit later, because now we can farm up on our current classes as much as fast as possible to try to get these newer essences that will be released here soon, and try to make the most of that first before everybody goes Druid. Let's be frank about it, right? The vast majority of people are going to go in Druid. I will probably be doing that as well, to test out the class. Obviously, I think I seen the thumbnail from Indez and some other people saying like, "Oh, the class is crazy." Blah blah blah. It's like, well, I'm sure it is because it's the new, and that's just how it goes. So I'm going to be jumping on that one again, the same thing I did with Tempest, and hopefully I won't get as bored with it as fast as Tempest because of how broken Tempest was on release. But then again, like I said, Druid will probably be just the same, and I don't know. I'll try and stick it out a little bit longer this time than a week, but we'll see. Anyway, okay, so now we get, we're getting 4 new legendary skills added into our Paragon tree, so that's cool. But, and here's another thing, usually they take 80 points. Usually they take 80 points to max out before you can unlock them and use them. Now they're doing a progressive upgrade style system on them, so you can do every 4 points and start putting points into whichever one. But at the same vein, you still can't, you're going to be going for one particular skill first anyway, right? So you're going to be putting all those points mostly into that one unless you get really crazy and spread your points out too thin. But I think it'd be better, of course, to focus on one, regardless of the fact we're just getting slight incremental stat attribute increases as we go about doing so compared to before. So now, yeah, progressive upgrade system on our legendary Paragon skills, which is pretty messed up. We're not getting another Paragon tree. That's obvious. We're not getting another Paragon tree. So that's pretty much what this says to us as well. We'll get more legendary skills at our disposal, but we're not getting another Paragon tree. Yay. I kind of figured they'd have a hard time figuring out another one by now too, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, say new legendary equipment. Here we go. Yeah, we're getting new essences. New essences. Now, I will just put these on the screen. Pause them where you need to. I'm going to go through. I'm not going to read them all. Here's Wizard, Mage, pause. Here's Barbarian, pause. Again, power's at your fingertips, right? You are in control. Let me try and center this better. Here we go. There is Martial Artist, which is Monk, pause. And let's see, we got Demon Hunter, pause. Demon Hunter has some interesting ones. I will say that one. I will say that one after, like, kind of surveying that a little bit. They do have some interesting ones this time around, which some people sound happy about already, just by this brief glimpse. Here's Crusader. Here's Necromancer, pause. Here is Berserker, which is Blood Knight, pause. Here is Mistblade, which is Tempest, pause. And now we move on to the new Thunderbolt, or Lightning set in game that is getting released. This one in translation sounds a bit rough. This kind of surprised me. Let's go ahead and do the 2-piece right here. When attacking, a lightning pulse is generated at an enemy's location, paralyzing nearby enemies for 3 seconds. So I don't know if that's an immobilize or what, or if it's a shock. Dealing damage over time. This can only be triggered once every 6 seconds. This, I feel, is a bit rough translation. I've kind of seen some variants to this already, so take it for what you will. I'm going to go ahead and check Blizzard one more time. Nope, still nothing from Blizzard. Good job, guys. Good job at the Blizzard offices. Still no update, and it's been like 2.5, almost 2 hours, 50 minutes past of which they were supposed to have this stuff ready to go for everybody. Congratulations. Glad to see you guys are still on the ball. 4-piece set here. When there are paralyzed enemies around, lightning chain will be automatically sent to them, causing lightning damage. So you get chain lightning effect. Very much like the Void Spark gem. It can be triggered at most once every 6 seconds, and at most 4 lightning chains can be launched at a time. Lots of zappy zaps all over the place. And as far as like the PvE stuff goes, that, and maybe even some PvP, this definitely has some very, very much possibilities in here. In particular for Wizard, the shock affixes and stuff that we can have sounds like a good time. And then there's the 6-piece set. After triggering Thunderbolt, you will gain Thunderbolt State that lasts for 12 seconds, a cooldown of 40 seconds. That's non-negotiable. No increase on beneficial effects and that kind of thing. During which time you will continue to paralyze surrounding enemies and cause damage every second. During the thunderstorm, when you use the protagonist skills, an additional lightning chain will be emitted, causing damage to the enemy, which can be triggered at most once every 1 second. So very, very much akin to the wizard main hand weapon that does a charge bolt every second. It's very fun. That's what causes a lot of the extra increased damage, because it's automatic spam. And this game, as we all know, loves their spam. Loves their spam in a can. Oh, no, that's a different kind. Anyway. All right, moving on. Try to move this. Okay, we've discussed this in the previous video. So, new Helicory bosses, of course, whenever we get the new difficulties, that's standard fare. Not going to go too much further into that one. The one thing of note here, though, gameplay changes. New version of Nightmare Realm, which is the Helicory bosses. The Crusaders, Holy Light Protection, the bubble, will be adjusted in terms of cooling time and duration. Yeah, it probably got a nerf. Let's put it that way. It probably got a nerf. Now, it says in the new version of the Helicory, so I don't know if it will affect anything outside of the Helicory. Now, what they did with Necromancer armor and Wizard armor, when we had the immunity charges, they did that. That was a sweeping thing. They did that across the board. So that was in all forms of gameplay. So I don't know if they adjusted that. There's going to be a lot of up in arms about it if it's not just affecting when you're in the Helicory raids. If this is across all forms of content, that's going to make things interesting, to say the least. But don't take my word for it on that one. I'm just kind of, unfortunately in this case, speculation abound, because still no official word from Blizzard here. Checked again. I just refreshed the page and nothing. So, yeah. Anyway, we get the usual stuff being brought into the game. Let's see here. Nothing else of value to be mentioned. Training grounds. We're getting 2 training grounds to choose from, so that's kind of cool. And then they mix it up where you can actually do here, Holy Song Training Ground, Battlegrounds, team up with the computer to experience the classic mode or new mode, so that you can even do it in Convoy, which is interesting enough. And boy, they have fun with some training dummies in there, because in Convoy, they probably have no clue what's going on. the AI, that is. You can also summon enemy dummies to count your output efficiency against the players. So you can test this against actual AI dummies in Battlegrounds and the Convoy map, which is very interesting. Have fun. It's probably going to be pretty comical, honestly. I might try to give it a go, and I might do a recording about it once that's available and be like, this is hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, so then challenge rifts are increasing from 500 to 550. New season already, which is crazy, because I feel like we just had a change and now we're getting boosted and we're getting a new season already for challenge rift yet again, which that was fast. New season journey, the usual stuff here, nothing really out of the ordinary. Immortal Cloak update. Have fun with this one, everybody. Have fun with this one, because I was happy with the one I got, right? I got the highest one at the time, which was like 42 weeks or something stupid. And now they're adding another one for 98 weeks. Yeah, they better send you a cloak in the mail inlaid with pure platinum or gold. Well, yeah, platinum or whatever, and send it to you for your dedication, right? Let's be honest here. And good lord, that's crazy. That's crazy. So over that stuff, to be honest, man. But hey, people love their virtual cosmetics, don't they? Oh boy. Anyway, okay, here we go. See anything else of value here that we didn't already cover before? Oh yeah, new passive skills for familiars, and still the overly convoluted familiar system in the game. I don't know how I feel. I know how I feel about this. I feel like this is just a complete waste and a wash. I wish that this wouldn't be so convoluted as it has been since its inception. I really wish this would take a full overhaul so where you can have more control over your skill gains and accumulation for your familiars and be able to tweak them a bit more specifically. But they love their RNG and they love their convolution. So this is what we have to continue with, unfortunately. So I'm not really, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Let's see here. New legendary gems, of course. This is the Bloodthirsty Crystal, which is blood flow in proper English translation here. And we all know what it does already. Here it is again one more time if you just happen to see this for the first time. Of course, there you go. I'm not going to go over into these in too depth. Of course, there is a 2-star on the way as well. And there is the 1-star of also. So there you go. Now, they are adding a banner to where there's a % chance increased for the blood flow gem. I call this a banner because that is the terminology used whenever you get a boosted drop rate. In games, various mobile games, they always have, especially like summon banners and some other ones that have the gotcha, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this is what this is. So that's why I call it a drop banner for the blood flow gem. We are also getting a standard drop library. So after the maintenance is over, will be the drop rates for those will be increased. So we'll have that to adjust at the Elder Rift as well for a time, which is about a month and a half on this one. So that's significant. All right, now also, let me see here. We're getting, increased percentage drop rates as well. It looks like here the pity counter, the 50th draw, looks like there's getting a slight uptick on that as well, and that is running only for about half a month. So there's that. Now, for you spenders, this is a big one. This is a big one for those of you that did the Phantom Market or Phantom Gallery or whatever the hell it was called. This one here, if you got those chests for the gems, the gem chests that people were upset saying, hey, the new gem's not in here. Well, hopefully you held on to them. And if not, you're going to be quite miffed over this, to say the least, because as you can see here, now also, this is if everything goes according to their plan, that is. Should note that you can open the treasure box after the maintenance update and obtain the 2-star blood flow gem in it. And with a maximum star rating of 5. Yeah. So there is that. If you kept those boxes from the Phantom Market, Phantom Gallery thing, they will be added into those supposedly. And I say supposedly because their track record with how well they do these things, I see this causing a lot of turmoil again. It already is in how they're going about doing this. They didn't make mention of this early on, which they should have. They waited, which is very dirty. But nonetheless, here we are. Now when this goes live, I see it possibly being bugged and not being in there right at the outset. So hold on to them, sit on your hands, and just wait it out. Wait until you actually see that, and then have at it. So good luck to all of you spenders out there on this one, and hopefully it works out as they are saying here, right? Okay, so that's a big point that I hope you guys, they will probably not put this in the Blizzard patch notes. They'll probably leave this out. So that's why I really want to highlight certain things like this and make full note of these things in the Chinese notes. Okay, so there is that. So good luck to you again. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be the typical trial for the gem for an hour, which is kind of stupid, honestly, but nonetheless, that's going to be released as well. And then here's various in-store game shop packs listed here. You can see them when they get added into the game. I'm just going to leave it at that. Some form of a national server challenge. Now this one is cross-server competition. I feel like this is a Chinese server thing. We probably won't get it. We haven't had it on global in a very, very long time. We had it like once a while ago and haven't seen it since. Meanwhile, the Chinese servers have had multiple runs of this. So I'm just going to call it now. This is probably something to just not pay attention to for global anyway. And then we get the new this needs to be in. This is the thing we discussed as well about the set pieces, where you can add it into your drop pool chance of that specific. It has to be in a specific dungeon that it can drop, and it will increase the drop rate of those particular pieces. Let's face it, this needs to be a permanent fixture. I said this in the previous video as well. I'm just going to touch on it really quick one more time. It is lasting for a fair amount of time, mind you, but they should just leave it in. It should just remain permanent. Hopefully, before the end of this time run, they will change their mind and see how well that people have liked it, and say, okay, yeah, we're just gonna leave it in. There's far too much grind in the game, far too much. And let's face it, most times you'll probably get a set piece that has vitality on it, and you'll be like, trash. So yeah, there's that one. All right, moving on. Finally, wrapping this up here. Now, this here is as close as I think we're going to get to a possible gem surge event. It didn't really say it in so many words, but let's kind of go over this here. During the event, you can progress by making any top up. Now, this might be a pay to. Well, I mean, the gem surge is pretty much pay to win anyway. But let's see. When the progress reaches a certain value, you can receive progress rewards. After obtaining the star up item, Brilliant Jade. There it is, Brilliant Jade. So we had Polished Jade in the past. I forget what it was called this last time around, but it was definitely something Jade. This very much sounds akin to the Blood Gem Surge event again, just a different variant of it. You can upgrade the Bloodthirsty Crystal, Blood Flow, or the Source of Corrosion. Source of Corrosion. I can't think of what that could translate into off the top of my head in another 5-star gem, because usually they do these in a twofer. And the highest 4-star gem can be upgraded to 5 stars. Oh wow, this is different from the other gem surge, which we can do it from all the way from 2 to 3 and so on and so forth. This one sounds like it's only 4 to a 5-star, so this is definitely pay to win in this inception here. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this one gets implemented. Take it for what you will for right now. I just wanted to make note of this also, because Blizzard's still on Blizzard's front. No update to the patch notes. Congratulations. Bang up job. Reaper of Souls cosmetic, of course, in the paid event. So there you go. We get a free draw, of course, in it, but then after that, good luck to you. And it's probably the standard maximum cost to get everything in it. And sales time, yep, there you go. And then most of the activity center, our event center, of course, and the various activities that go on in that, returning events. There's the moon, Hungry Moon, that kind of thing, the usual stuff. Balance adjustment, this one's very interesting to take note of. People are already up in arms on this. Of course, the Necros are up in arms about this. Necromancer's legendary equipment, Imminent Fear. Proximity Fear no longer causes fear to surrounding enemies continuously, but instead fears surrounding enemies when the ghost state is opened and ended. So at the start and at the end of it is when that will have that effect, not continuously like it was. So let's be real, I think that needed to happen. And then there's already people with their torches on Reddit and saying, well, what else is going to be considered OP? Man, it's like, I am sorry, but let's face it. There are certain things that needed a adjustment. And yeah, there's always going to be that back and forth. But nonetheless, there is that one. And then there's some PC changes, which is very interesting. Mouse and keyboard stuff. I'm just going to put it on the screen really quick. You can read it if you want. I'm not. It's some of them are interesting. I don't know if I'm going to use any of these, because now the muscle memory is kind of going to have to be kind of changed in a lot of ways, and I don't know how I feel about some of them. There is one here that I find funny, though. Where is it at? It's basically, after continuous movement function. Added continuous movement function. After turning it on, the character will automatically follow your mouse movement. Well, there's that one. Added a new skill button to release skills. After turning it on, players can release skills by clicking or dragging the skill button. So now we can be skill clickers. But yeah. And added the functionality of releasing skills using shortcut keys. This leans more into making the AI barbs that are already in game very even further into the autoplay Korean games that are out there, where you just you don't even do any. You're not even playing the game. The game is playing itself for you, and that's honestly disgusting because at that point you're not playing a game anymore. You're not playing a game anymore. But anyway, that's just a funny note there at the end of all of this. Wrap this up here. Everything else. Oh, the vaulting now. They changed it. Before the change, it was 10 points for every participation, like in and out, up to 60 participants per week to get your 600 activity points, right? Now, it's going to be 15 points will be obtained for each treasure chest opened. A maximum of 40 treasure chests, of course, still remains per week. And a maximum of 600 activity points can be obtained. So, pretty much, I think an hour you can, vaulting, doing this, opening the chests will get you your points, and then you're done. There you go. So, for shadows anyway, right? That's for shadows. So, there you go. That is that. That's a nice friendly change there. This one here makes no sense to me whatsoever. The upper limit of the attribute critical hit damage bonus rate is increased from 100 to 120% in non-conflict status and remains at 100% in conflict status. So honestly, what's the point? What's the point in that one? They added an extra portal to return to Westmar. Okay, so they added another portal there, so that's good. Another teleportation station has been added. Lingering Fortress, this kind of thing. A lot of quality of life improvements for the most part here. Okay, and then bug fixes. There you go. I'll just put this on the screen. You can look at them. I'm not going to read them all. This is where you will find bug fixes that are actually been done or are actually in effect now mostly, and this is the quickest bug fix list that you're going to get from the Chinese website because Blizzard takes days later before they post theirs. And they're usually, they're still behind the 8 ball. I refreshed one more time just as a haha funny aside. All right. I've gone on far, far longer than I planned on here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in on this one. If you have enjoyed this podcast, so to speak, on everything, I know I kind of ramble and banter on this one, and I encourage you, of course, to have your snacks and just put me on in the background and listen to me rabble on here in this, again, podcast format. Enjoy it for what it is, I hope. Again, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get the Blizzard official notes because, well, Blizzard didn't put them up. And that's all on them, and I'm tired of waiting, and it's been, a couple hours, and I'm not waiting any longer, so here we are. Anyway, stay safe out there in the real world, and as always, everybody, take care of yourselves as best you can, one day at a time. It's all we can do for sure. Until next time, see ya.